Did you know that mrbeast believes that League is the best game ever made, that the governor of Colorado is a devout Maokai main, or that the NBA Finals MVP is an avid solo Renekton only viewer? We will be discussing all of these stories and more, but first let's talk about Imagine Dragons, who have been late to concerts with tens of thousands of fans because they've been busy grinding their ranked games. Though Imagine Dragons has obviously gained notoriety in the League community for their songs Warriors and Enemy, their journey into the world of League of Legends began in 2013 after the brother of their lead singer Dan Reynolds introduced them into the game, which the band began to pick up in their free time during their tours. In between sound checks and talking with the press, Imagine Dragons have tried squeezing in as much League as possible to the point where they are literally doing their vocal warm-ups while in game. No. And though the band initially began playing exclusively Twisted Treeline, they finally made their transition to Summoner's Rift, in which Reynolds found himself maining Vi Jungle, their guitarist Wayne Sermon maining support, and their drummer Daniel Platzman picking up ADC. And despite looking around for the better part of an hour or so trying to find their current account names, they don't seem to be publicly available. However, they have said in interviews that they average between gold and silver and ranked, which for a band that travels as much as them is actually pretty solid. Not to mention, they've been invited to Riot headquarters a numerous amount of times to hop onto the Rift with League's founders Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill, which is a pretty insane 5-stack if you ask me. And though they may not have as much time to play League now, considering how much their music has grown worldwide, they still appear from time to time in the League scene, and even mentioned in a mrbeast video that Enemy was written all the way back in 2018. But even while Fortnite was becoming the biggest thing known to mankind, back at that time, Moist Critical was busy uploading videos of the greatest UR gameplay of all time. Though now Charlie largely keeps up with the game and its respective esports scene from a spectator point of view, back in the day it wasn't uncommon to see footage of his gold rank games with his iconic deadpan humor commentary.
What's up everybody, it's Critical. I'm in my promos for Gold 3, so I figured I'd play Ivern for the first time. Let's do this shit.
Playing under the account name Dr. Zalos, Charlie was primarily a Yorick and Pizza Feet Pantheon enjoyer, though he often played an extensive number of champions ranging all the way out to Bard and Ivern. And one thing that I found especially interesting is that his League videos were actually really well received by viewers who in fact wanted even more of this content, since back then people were still getting tired of League's classic content formula. Charlie would upload occasional League related videos for around 4 years or so before opting to entirely focus on other content. However, every once in a while he has still played a few streams of League and of course keeps up with a lot of other League's IPs such as Arcane and its esports scene. And while later we'll be covering the king of YouTube and mrbeast, let's take a dive into a completely different line of work as we head into the world of League of Legends and American politics. Firstly, let's talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is not only a member of the US House of Representatives, but is also a support main who credits League for some of her political resiliency. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, often abbreviated as simply AOC, has represented New York's 14th congressional district since 2019 as a member of the Democratic Party, and during this time she's been outspoken for her passion for gaming. When it comes to her playing League of Legends, AOC primarily mains Lux, Misfortune, and Morgana, as well as other support champions in a way that she describes as playing defensive champions aggressively. Though this playstyle seems counterintuitive, she has tweeted about reaching silver and even cites that being stuck in elo hell has helped her patience levels on the floor of the house. And she's not the only politician that's been engrossed in League's competitive nature, as Colorado's very own governor Jared Polis, who is a self-described gamer, has been outspoken in his regards to love for the game, and more specifically his two favorite champions, Maokai and Anivia.
I'm Jared Polis. I'm a member of the United States House of Representatives from the 2nd Congressional District of Colorado, and I main Maokai.
And in fact, his passion for the game led to him being investigated by the House of Ethics Committee for a collaboration he did with Riot in which he promoted the game on their YouTube channel back in April of 2015. Polis faced accusations of working with private companies as a source of potential illegal marketing, and though the case was ultimately dismissed, this was still not the first instance of Colorado's governor garnering potential supporters from League's community. Just a year prior, Polis had actually taken to League's message boards in an effort to combat the controversial Stop Online Piracy Act, an act that would have heavily cracked down on online copyright infringement had it passed. And when asked on the parallels between League and political matters, he described passing a bill as having the same feeling as winning a League of Legends ranked match, and that on the floor he felt most like a jungler who swoops in to assist with passing notions. And also having done collaborations with Riot Games, we have former NBA All-Star Gordon Hayward, who not only played League in his free time, but was actually pretty good at it too. The Charlotte Bobcats small forward has reached the ranks of platinum in the past while maining his favorite champion Tryndamere, which when you think about how busy professional athletes are is really impressive. In fact, his love for Freljord's Barbarian King has been so vocal that after his return from suffering a gruesome injury dislocating his left ankle, Riot even made an anime-styled short in support of his strong return to the NBA. And during his recovery, Hayward had actually begun to stream League a fair amount in his downtime, allowing him to showcase his right-clicking prowess to his fans.
Come here. No way. No way.
Oh, the play.
And before we discuss mrbeast's incredibly outspoken love for the game, we of course have to give an honorable mention to Gordon Hayward's fellow NBA player and Nikola Jokic. Jokic is coming off of winning the NBA Finals MVP and having one of the statistically best postseasons in the sport's history, but even he still dedicates time to playing League along with some other games, and though he hasn't talked much about his time on the Rift, there is one especially significant clip he has in regards to the game that is simply wild. In 2019, Jokic's team, the Denver Nuggets, barely lost in a Game 7 playoff match against the Portland Trail Blazers with an incredibly close 196 scoreline, a crushing end to the season for any player. But during the post-game press conference, while addressing the media in his final interview after the team's loss, Jokic answered questions while wearing solo Renekton only merch. His season had just ended on a heartbreaking defeat, and my man was wearing a shirt that said, "Boom, what up?" But that's enough about basketball for now, because it is finally time to talk about arguably the most famous person on the internet in mrbeast. Jimmy has played League for around 10 years, even having some of his gameplay being showcased in some of his old videos on his main channel, and while he was initially a Leona main, he began to develop an affinity towards Pyke, which probably shouldn't come as a surprise due to his ability to share kill gold with others. First making his passion for League very publicly known in 2020, Jimmy has since played with some of League's biggest content creators on streams, hosted a tournament with Ninja, and appeared on the broadcast of World's Finals just this past year. And on said broadcast, he reiterated that he 100% plans on owning a highly competitive League team at some point in the future, which, considering that TSM is leaving the LCS, might be a statement to keep your eye on. And if you did want to hear more about NBA players getting involved in the League of Legends competitive scene, well, I have an entire video dedicated to the story of Rick Fox, which we'll be playing in just a few moments. And even if that video doesn't interest you, I have a full catalog of plenty of other videos you'd probably be interested in, or you could consider subscribing because, you know, helps me out as a small content creator, and I'd love to have you stick around. And with all that being said, I won't keep you any longer, so I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. As always, I'll catch you in the next video. Later!